Okay, so as I said, the concept behind phase one is the mass message. New Orleans is open to everyone, providing clean, safe, and open evidence. Phase two is somewhat similar to the first, as I said, because it still utilizes the open concept. But the objectives are a little different, actually. In this phase, we're emphasizing New Orleans is open to you, each individual audience member. Rather than mass messaging everyone, it's open directly to you. And this is really achieved by utilizing the element of abstraction. Now, abstraction is unique in that it allows us to take a concept from the first phase and apply it to each individual audience member's unique experiences to derive their own message. As you can see, our New Orleans is open to copy, utilize the element of abstraction here. So Kelly, could you please answer what you think New Orleans is open to? And tell us.
Well, in that case, it looks like it's open to a great Mardi Gras party.
Exactly. See, so your answer is one thing, while somebody else's answer may be completely different. Robbie, could you answer what you think New Orleans is open to in this next step? So as I said, one message, two messages, both different, both unique. So New Orleans is open to you in your own specific way. We're going to take this concept one step further by holding a video contest on our website, which allows you to show us and everybody what New Orleans is open to today. And here's Amanda to talk to you about how we're going to take phase one and phase two and bring it directly to your doorstep.
Thank you so much. So make sure you enter that video contest and you can win a trip to New Orleans. So in roadmap phase number 4 in front of you, when searching for the very best way to reach our 18 to 30-year-old market, we sought to understand how this group consumed its media. This graph from Jupiter Research best summarizes our findings by asking, on average, how many hours per week do you spend with each of the following media? So when looking at our 18 to 30-year-old media consumption specific group, we see right here in newspapers and magazines that it's relatively flat with this group, having less than 1 hour time spent weekly. Radio, as seen here in the salmon, seems to steadily capture that drive time hour throughout our targets. However, television and online, as featured in the red circle here, easily see the most time spent weekly. However, what was more interesting yet is when we took a closer look at our secondary market, as denoted here from 35 to 54, or 30 to 50 for us, we saw that our secondary market actually consumed their media in a very similar fashion, also seeing the most time spent in an online and television mix. Thus, in focusing on online television, we could reach both our primary and secondary markets effectively. So therefore, it was obvious. The campaign needed to be a mix of online and television. However, when we began looking at costs, we saw television was too expensive. For example, when we worked up our costs, we saw to run a television campaign just in our geographically targeted markets of Jackson, Shreveport, Dallas, Baton Rouge, and Houston, reaching approximately 80% of our market, for only 6 months, we would spend $6.47 million, way over our budget. And this does not even include production costs for a commercial, which to be effective could cost anywhere upwards to $250,000. So therefore, television commercials were simply out of the question given this budget. But we did mention it was so effective in reaching our target. So how did we intend to get on broadcast television? By utilizing a very aggressive public relations campaign to advocate pitch stories to television networks and to producers in order to feature New Orleans in a public relations fashion on broadcast television. And so therefore, our integrated marketing communication mix is not online and television per se, but public relations and online. And our public relations component will consist of a relationship building team in order to get us on broadcast television, a press and publication team, a street team, and then a web component, which consists of an online ad placements, search engine marketing, lead generation, and an interactive focused website. With our budget breaking down as follows, skewing slightly higher to our interactive online placements at $2.75 million, but then coming in almost equally with public relations at $2.25 million, a fairly large public relations budget. So allow me to explain why with a tactical explanation of this public relations plan aimed at reversing negative perceptions, number 5 on the roadmap in front of you. So So the public relations set up for this campaign are really twofold: to attain that broadcast television exposure for New Orleans, and equally as important, to alter the negative perceptions that are still widely held about the city. The strategy to meet those objectives include having a relationship team generate large-scale media on broadcast television networks, enlisting a public relations news team to create general positive press, partnering with existing events in our feeder markets, such as Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi, as mentioned, and utilizing street teams to generate exposure at events. So let's start with talking about our relationship, public relations team, which will be comprised of a 4 full-time staff team whose sole job is to meet with networks such as the Food Network, BET, to maybe have us featured as the New Orleans Spring Fling on BET, MTV, envision New Orleans, the real world, we're open, and E! Entertainment. The second component of our public relations team will be comprised of also 4 individuals who will be responsible for increasing the positive news stories that are released in the mainstream media, but also and equally mitigating the negative press that's released by building relationships with CNN, Fox News, and our feeder market news stations. There will also be 1 director of special events whose job function include ensuring open signage will be present at any major feeder market event, collaborating with street teams to ensure that they have our presence at major events and festivals, and lastly, assisting to create new events actually in the city of New Orleans to bring new visitors to the city. Lastly, we will have street teams, which will be also a twofold effort. First, we will have 6 managers stationed at the New Orleans Convention and Visitors Bureau to assist and direct actually our AMA collegiate affiliate street teams with their efforts around the country. We propose that the New Orleans Convention and Visitors Bureau offer a yearly sponsorship to AMA clubs to act as open advocates on location in their respective cities. The second portion of the street team will be a quick response street team who will work to A, quickly respond to any major opening events to really partner with that whole open concept in our feeder markets, and also to actually combat negativity towards the city by being on site. So here's Jimmy once more to illustrate a few quick response street team examples.